Welcome back. The numbers are astounding, but perhaps not so surprising. U.S. households are carrying close to $12 trillion in debt. The financial burden is holding many Americans back. Our next guest, Beverly Harzog, is a former credit junkie who was buried in debt, but found a way out. She's now a consumer credit advisor, thank goodness, and author of the Debt Escape Plan, a book to help those in debt and with poor credit reclaim their financial lives. And I've got a copy of this book that you've been kind enough to autograph for me. This will be my new Bible. You know, it's interesting with debt, and I find that, you know, when you get into debt, Beverly, it's hard to get out. If you have a certain interest rate on a credit card, if you fall behind, they increase the rate. So it almost keeps you, in a sense, in bondage, in slavery.
No, Julian, that's so true. It can be very difficult to get out of debt once you get into it, and it takes a lot of discipline, but you can do it.
Well, let's start with the first steps. You have a whole hero here. You can only eat it by taking the first bite. What's the first bite of this hero when it comes to bad debt, bad credit?
You know, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge your debt. I like to call this staring down your debt. And by that, I mean, take a look at the amount. And you might be surprised. I know when I was in debt, I tried to keep from looking at that total for as long as I possibly could, because honestly, I thought I would pass out from fear if I actually saw it.
I can imagine.
So you just have to stare it down, look at it, acknowledge that you did this. And once you do that, you'll get past the obstacle, okay? And you'll be able to come up with a plan to get out of your debt. So that's the first thing, just own it.
Okay, but isn't the key, though, when you're facing this debt and you're paying your creditors to pay a little bit more than what they're asking for in terms of monthly payments?
Absolutely, Julian. One of the biggest problems that people make is paying the minimum payments and not paying more than that. And if you do that, you will be in debt for years and years and years.
We're talking about thousands of dollars here. You yourself, you have a personal story. You were $20,000 in debt. How did you get out of it?
You know, it happened to be right when I got out of college. You know, like many young people, I didn't understand money management. To make this even more ironic, I was a CPA.
Wow.
And still managed to get into debt.
That's not good for the rest of us.
No, it's not. I had 7 credit cards, all maxed out. So it's, you know, it's just, you have to, when that happens to you, like I said, you have to own it, and then you have to, you know, have a plan of action, and that includes paying more than the minimum, or you'll never get out of debt.
Well, here's the key, though, Beverly. I mean, I find that more college students now are using credit cards. I mean, I really didn't have a credit card when I was in school about 200 years ago. but the bottom line is, it's really not good, really, to use credit cards that much, especially if you're a college student.
You know, the Credit Card Act of 2009 put a lot of rules in place to try to protect college students, but they're still able to get them. You know, one of the big things now is that you've got to be 21, or you've got to be able to show that you have the money to pay off any debt that you incur. So that knocks out a couple of, you know, a lot of college kids right there. But, you know, if you are responsible, let's say you're 21 years old, you're a senior, and you're responsible with your money, you know, there's no reason why you can't get one credit card and start building credit so that when you get out of college, you've got a good credit score.
You've got a great profile.
Right. That will help you rent an apartment. I mean, a good credit score is important for a whole lot of things in life.
I would assume for most people who really don't have a whole lot of common sense when it comes to money and getting out of debt, a credit counselor would be good. Are they expensive? Can you find something free, like a nonprofit organization that can help you out?
Yes, Julian, that's a great question. I like the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, and that's nfcc.org. And you can get on that website and find an accredited counselor in your area. And usually they'll give you a free phone call. You get like 1 hour, and they'll talk to you about your budget and just help you brainstorm a little bit. And just getting that unbiased viewpoint might be all you need to get going in the right direction.
I can imagine, and it is a start, but I guess the best thing to do is not to get in debt in the first place.
That's the ideal thing, yes.
Well, the book is The Debt Escape Plan, Beverly Harzog. This is a wealth of information. I will certainly thumb through it and give it to my friends and other folks who are in desperate need of it. Thank you so much for being on Arise Exchange.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Next, lights, camera, and action. And you're watching Arise Exchange.